Yes. Hello and welcome to Geekatplay tutorials. In this tutorials we'll continue exploring how we can take full potential out of Vue with the adjustments inside the applications and some presets. So right here what I want to do when you work with the lighting to showing best way to achieve, and you probably know some of these tips, but sometimes maybe you just forget to use it, so it's good things to refresh it. What I'm going to do it is actually create, let's open recent files. Okay, so we'll go open one that I pre-created, and this is have a model with some internally with setup lightings. Okay, so right here as example we have some hallway, and this is totally to render inside. You can see we don't have a sun. This is all to render hallway inside some building, so it is internal rendering. And when we do this, a couple things we want to switch. First, inside the atmosphere, so let's set global radiosity, and you'll notice right here we have an indirect skylight and optimize for door rendering, so we want to uncheck those ones. You'll notice our lighting is jumped quite a bit high because it's how they start calculating on the lighting. Okay, we can adjust back to lighting before if you like it by overall reduce the gain down bring, so it's overall make a little bit darker, or we can go and adjust lightings other ways. So you two options. But again, here's one thing you also need to notice. There's some options, like for example right here one affected because this is just internal lighting. All what we need to do at this point is disable and just maybe work with the gain a little bit. You can also increase a little bit quality boost and shadow smoothing if you don't want too hard, but normally default value will work well. The most important when you start rendering it is if we render right now. So let me go ahead and render to screen. Okay, let's go ahead preview. You'll notice that okay, so right here we have it our render. The one thing mostly when you work inside, you'll notice sometimes you want to work with the lights. So in usual, we'll go inside and we'll readjust lighting this way, maybe increase or decrease otherwise. But this is extra step unnecessary, you don't actually need to do. All we need to go inside the render, and if you remember we have it enable relighting. This will help you to adjust and set a lot of lights this way. One thing enable relighting what does it is add extra little bit time to render, but on the bright side you can actually add more lights, save them, and even you don't want to use at this moment, but you can still even save them to the 0 as example. Okay, and let's right now just use it to relighting and try to render this way. So right here you'll notice after this render it doesn't take that long at all. Now we have the options to modify the our settings, so without going back and forward and readjusting with the relighting, you remember you can modify it and adjust. So let's click full interactive. On this case we can preview inside our image, and you can see we can modify some lights. For example right here, because it was 0 you cannot do anything, and again this is set only to the maximum, and even type inside does not kind of readjust at all. So in some cases it's very useful to set this light little bit on overexposure if you was going to use it render options post render, like readjusting here, and afterwards going inside and modify, just bring them slightly down in your processing. Because as I said before, right here you'll remember we set to 0, so it doesn't affect anything when you're typing. You have some color correction, but your color correction will also, remember, base it from color you established. So it was before a little bit reddish, so if we add red that will be okay. But however, if you start adding some color that make conflict with the red, it will affecting, but also it will mix with the color that it was before. So if you think you will utilize this real lighting quite a bit, you probably want to set original lights to the white color. Okay, and how I said before, a little bit overexpose them, so you have a little bit more room to play on a brightness and bring down kind of like a little bit more dim color on that. Okay, so right here as example, we can slightly modify it, create colder maybe lights, play with different lighting. And adjustment. Okay, you can see how this one will work much faster and without rendering over and over. And again, we can complete with different pictures. Can be sure you have it enabled copy settings in the sense, and on this case when you click OK, your lightings is actually save it and preset to whatever was set before, so it's kind of a little bit more helpful. Okay, so thank you for watching this tutorial from Geekatplay Studio, and please remember visit us on our web is www.geekatplay.com.